Hey everybody, my name is John, Tech Geek Tesla. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I don't usually do a paint correction or do-it-yourself ceramic coating or any waxing tutorials, but I did have a lot of interest. I posted the results of my ceramic coating that I just did this past weekend, and the results speak for themselves. It's absolutely amazing, the result I'm extremely pleased with. I didn't expect it to come out as nice as it did, so I wanted to share that with you. The purpose of my channel is really to document the progress of full self-driving from Tesla. I bought full self-driving beta when, well, before it was beta, it was full self-driving. I bought it in 2019, took a gamble, and it paid off. It was $6,000 back then. Now it's worth $15,000. I document that throughout my entire channel, and you're welcome to check out all of those other videos. But I purchased it early on when I got my car because it's the first new car that I've ever purchased. I've always had older vehicles in the past. Maximum I ever paid was $10,000. But when I got my Tesla, I really wanted to keep good care of it. So I debated with myself, should I get paint protection film? It's that cover, that translucent bra that you can put on the front of your car, and some people put PPF across their entire vehicle. I opted not to do it because I like to save money. I'm pretty cheap. I'm pretty frugal, I should say. I don't like using the word cheap. But the same goes for all of my cleaning equipment. I try to get the best products possible to maximize the money that I spend. And when it comes to other things, I go as cheap as possible. So I'll explain to you kind of what I did, what the products that I found on Amazon, how I maintain my car here really quickly. I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. First things first, my brother's friend is a professional detailer, and he recommended this straight off the bat. He said, you definitely, if you have a black car, you're going to want to get Wolfgang Deep Gloss Paint Sealant, the product there on the right, and then also the Instant Detail Spritz. The Deep Gloss Paint Sealant is essentially a wax, and it's like a paint sealant and a wax all in one. It's a great product, and it lasts for months. The wax stays on there. They just released a 3.0 product. I haven't tried it yet, but I have been doing that pretty regularly. I'd say every 3 to 6 months, applying that. And then between car washes, I'll use the Instant Detail Spritz, and that keeps it looking really, really clean. It almost looks like it just was waxed. So this is the Instant Detail Spritz. I've tried a lot of little sprays to clean your car, and a lot of them, they don't wipe off very well. This Instant Detail Spritz, I swear by. I love it. In fact, I love it so much that I got this big jug. It's 128 milligrams or something like that. 128 ounces, not milligrams. 128 ounces, and this, I just refill this little spray bottle, and the spray bottle has lasted me, gosh, many, many years. So these go a long way, and I highly recommend picking them up. These were one of the first purchases I ever made, as well as the microfiber towels. And you can get these off Amazon or a number of different websites. You do have to be careful. You can see here I've got some marks or something in here. That's actually not debris. But if you let it sit like here on this garbage can, I've got some dust here. If that gets caught onto the towel and you start wiping your car down, that will create scratches. So you really want to be careful. I put this on a very safe spot here. There's no dust or debris here, but you have to be very, very careful. Don't never ever let these touch the ground, and keep them as clean as you can. Get them regularly and keep them as clean as you can, and wash them. I reuse these regularly. One other thing with these products, you're going to want to get one of these. You can find them at Walmart or any auto shop, and this is a polisher, and you can use this to not only polish your car but also to apply the wax. And this is a must-have purchase. You're going to need one of these to apply the Deep Gloss paint sealant. All right, so before we get into the products that I used to do this ceramic coating, I just want to show you the results here. I am extremely pleased. This shine is unbelievable. I had no idea it would have turned out this nice. And you can zoom in here and see there are still some micro swirls, but it's not that bad. And I probably could have done a little bit better if I had buffed it and polished it a little bit better. But all in all, I mean, it is extremely shiny, and this repels water. It will also help with dirt, and like if a bird poops on your car, or you have sap or syrup like it's spilled on your car, all of these things it will protect against. It's supposed to last up to 7 years. I went with Adams. It's Adams Graphene ceramic coat, and that's thanks to a buddy of mine that I've never met in person, but who I follow regularly on LinkedIn as well as Facebook and Twitter. maybe not Twitter, but his name is Zach Scriven, and he started a company called Electric Mobile Detailing. So definitely check him out. He has a channel called Tesla Details. I'll link that in the description. And if you are interested in having this done yourself and you're in the Northwest area, in fact, I think he has a platform he's launching so that he can release his products or his services all across the United States. Pretty awesome stuff. Definitely hit him up if you're interested in doing a detailed job like this. Now, prior to tackling this on my own, I knew that it would take a lot of time. I just didn't know exactly how much time, and I can say from experience now that it is very time consuming, especially if it's your first time doing it. You have to take extra care and be very, very diligent in all of the steps, especially before you apply the ceramic coating. That is absolutely important for top-notch results. The prep work counts in a huge, huge way. So before I get into the products here that I use, I just want to warn you that you have to expect that this is going to take at least 6 to 8 hours of your time. So in my case, I put maybe 2 hours and I cleaned it. I started polishing it, got interrupted, had to leave the car in the garage, and then sure enough, I needed my car. So I had to take it somewhere. So then it got dirty again. I made a small mistake here. I said that I had already waxed it. I had already clay barred my car. So thankfully, even though I had taken it out somewhere, I didn't have to do the clay bar process all over again. So you have to set aside a good long weekend in order to get this thing done. Now, you have to be passionate and you have to enjoy doing it as well, because I will say that it is a lot of work. It's very time consuming and it takes a lot of patience and diligence, and you have to work a little bit quickly, but if you're doing it again for your first time, you're going to have to learn and watch some tutorials, and that's where I again suggest you look at Tesla Details and a number of other websites. You can go down a rabbit hole with this stuff, so be very, very careful. There's many ways to do it, so by all means, don't take what I say as the best way or anything. It's just me, some random Joe Schmo off the street that went ahead and gave it a try, and I ended up getting really great results. So that's why I want to share with everybody here today. Along with the Wolfgang products, this is one of the first things that I picked up. It's a Greenworks 1600 PSI pressure washer, and this comes with this hose. And then you have to buy this snow foam cannon separately. I'll provide the links in the description. Hopefully they're still on Amazon. I got all these on Amazon. And then you're also going to want a snow foam auto wash. I bought this. It's from Chemical Guys, and it's a honeydew snow foam auto wash. It's a gallon bucket. I bought it in 2019 and I still have it here in 2023. So this goes a long way. You can see kind of how far I've gotten through it. You don't need much. It's about 1 ounce for every car wash that you do. And this cleans the car really, really well. You also need a microfiber mitt. Let me grab that here. All right, that's the mitt that I use. So I get a bucket and I just put cold water. What I read is you don't want to use hot, like boiling hot water when you wash your car. So lukewarm water is good. And then I will use that mitt. And also I use another product that also helps a little bit. It's the Ultimate Wash and Wax. It's a hydrophobic polymer technology from Meguiar. This is optional, definitely not needed, but it does create a little bit extra finish when you wash your car. So I just mix a little bit of that into the bucket of water when I wipe the car down. So first thing is you use the pressure washer, spray the car. After 4 years of ownership, the front looks pretty decent. So it's not perfect. Like you'll see here, there's a little spot there where the paint has come off just a little bit. But generally speaking, the front has held up pretty nicely. There are obviously going to be paint chips and different spots that are going to end up happening, and you're not going to be able to avoid it. Like that's me, my horrible attempt at using the paint correction kit. Definitely want to pick one of those up and apply paint correction every so often whenever you have a rock chip, because those will come and go, I mean, when you fix them. And I'm not the greatest at doing the paint, applying that paint from the paint kit, but as you can see, the front of the car looks pretty decent. I mean, it's not that bad. And on the hood, it's very nice and shiny, but you can see I have some spots there, like where I've applied some paint, extra paint. So it's not perfect, but it's decent enough, and I'm not unhappy with the way the hood of the car looks. So one tip, I always like my car is on an incline right now because my driveway is going up just a little bit. I always park it in reverse so that the car is facing down. It tends to drain better when the car is slanting down. You know, obviously if you don't have a slanted surface, then flat is fine, but I found AC system, it collects some smell, and the filter can get wet ever so slightly, so it drains just much better if you orient it the other way. That's one piece of advice there. Also the filters, I've picked up a couple of them and replaced them. I replace those every 6 months to 1 year. It's been a while since I've had to do it, but that's another maintenance thing that I try to keep up with. After you wash your car and dry it, the next thing is you want to polish it. So if you're going to do a good wax and you feel that it's been a long time, you definitely want to do a polish if possible. Now polishing, I don't recommend to do like every 6 months, maybe every year. I would apply this polish, and I just use the Meguiars. There's a lot of polishes. This one actually is hard to remove. There is probably a better product out there, but this does the job. The only thing is that you need to either use this little thing, this pad, when you apply the polish. But this is very labor intensive because you're going to be spreading it around the car, and it's quite a bit of pressure that you need to apply. So your arms are probably going to hurt if you keep applying it. So what I got is a polisher, and I picked this up at Walmart. It's a 9 to 10 inch polisher, and it plugs into 120 volt AC, and it comes with two different pads. That blue one there you can see, which is kind of a microfiber pad, and then like a what do you call it? A sponge, kind of like a sponge pad. And I found that for a really nice shine, that microfiber towel is a better buffing pad. That works better than the sponge. And you have to apply some pressure when you use this, and also be very careful because you can get blisters pretty easily. There are better polishers out there, but as far as the best money, as far as the best economical solution, and I've only used this maybe 2 or 3 times in the 4 years that I've had my car, so it's not something that you're going to be, constantly using. So all in all, I think it's worth it to get that one. Next thing is you're going to want to do a clay bar. Now this only applies if you've had your car for a while. I'd say over a year to 2 years of owning the car, you're going to have some buildup on the car, and that's just from parking outside, especially if you park your car outside. So I park my car in the garage, and it stays in here. I'm going to come out of the sun. It stays in my garage most of the time, so I don't have my car exposed to the elements. But if you have your car exposed outside, for example, all the time, you might want to clay bar your car more often. Now, claying your car, although it sounds great in principle, it does introduce extra scratches. Because think about it, you've got that clay and you're just smearing it across, and it will collect little grits that collect on your car over time. And when you keep sliding it, the principle is that piece of fine dust, or especially if it's a particle like a small stone or something, that gets stuck in the clay, and as you slide it across, that actually scratches the car. So every so often you need to take that clay, fold it in half, and then keep going. But the clay definitely helps if you want to do a really good job and baby the car and make it look phenomenal. So definitely recommend that if you've had your car for a year, 2 years, or more. So if you've never clayed a car, this is a clay kit that I bought also at Walmart. It's pretty self-explanatory when you read the instructions. You just have to use this little instant detailer. Make sure the surface is really, really wet before you start doing it. It has to be very well lubricated as you're applying the clay bar. Not too much else to say there other than after you finish claying the car, make sure to either wash the car again or use the instant detail spritz, which I have over here again. I'll show you. The instant detail spritz is what I usually use to just kind of lightly, a little bit goes a long way, lightly spray it across the entire car, just get the residue from that detailer off with the clay. And then from there, you're going to have a nice clean slate to start polishing. So after you finish doing the clay, that's when you're going to polish. So I did those in reverse. You're going to want to polish the car after you clay the car. So polishing the car, you just put a little bit of this polish on this microfiber cloth, and then press into the car really firmly and go back and forth. And you can watch a lot of videos. There's many different ways to do that. Finally, after you wipe all the polish off and it looks really clean, definitely if you have time and it's daytime outside, go outside, just take a look, make sure you have all the polish off the car. Sometimes I have to go back to that instant detail spritz just to get the remaining remnants of the polish off of the car. Once all the polish is off, you're going to now have a nice, shiny, clean car, and it should look really, really nice at this point. I mean, showroom ready. It's going to look beautiful. Now, this is where you lock in that shine by applying the ceramic coat. And you're going to want to have some gloves for this. That's why I have these gloves here. And this is a graphene ceramic coating. It's going to cost about $86. And you're going to want to get these pads. There's a kit that you can get from Adams, I think on Amazon as well. But definitely you're going to want to do that to get the kit. And I got the kit that just came with the these what do you call them, applicator pads and the graphene ceramic coating as one product, and I'll put that link in the description as well. So I was pretty nervous before I applied the graphene coating, thinking I needed to do it in a very specific way, and the drying time I was really concerned about. But I will say that it went on really easy, and you can wait up to 5 minutes. It says anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes, but don't sweat it if it ends up sitting on there for 5 minutes. The idea is after it dries a little bit, you wipe it off, and that is going to be the microfiber cloth. You're going to want to use a really clean one, and when you wipe it off, it's going to stick to the surface just a little bit. That's what you want. They talk about in the instructions like a rainbow effect. I didn't see any of that, so I did it indoors. You definitely want to do this indoors. You don't want any dust flying around. Now, even if you do have dust flying around, you're going to wipe it off anyway, so it's not a big deal because that dust is going to get smeared in there and it's going to get wiped off anyway. So don't worry too much about that, but you definitely don't want to apply it in the sunlight. Make sure you are in the shade. Go indoors if at all possible, or do it at nighttime. Now, another thing is you want to have good light. This was a problem I had. I didn't have a very good light. So I had this really powerful LED light indoors, but I wish I had done it during the day so I could roll it out and had better, more natural light. Unfortunately, timing just didn't work out that way, but after you apply that graphene coating, you're going to want to wait 24 hours for it to settle and absorb the graphene coating. And then it's supposed to last up to 7 years. I'm very skeptical. I don't think it's going to actually last 7 years, but we're going to find out. And then finally, the last step. So after I apply that graphene coating, you're going to go back and forth. They say kind of go around the perimeter of the doors and stuff. You can apply it on the glass. I did it on the mirrors as well, but I used painter's tape and covered up the trim to avoid getting it on the trim. It's a little bit harder to get off the trim from what I've observed, so I did use painter's tape, and let me just show you what that is. Really simple. You can get this at Home Depot, any home care place, Menards, all these different places, Ace Hardware, any hardware shop will have this. You get the painter's tape and you just put that across the trim, and then when you use the sponge or the applicator and you're putting the graphene coating on, it's not going to touch it. That's the principle. Now, this is optional. I wouldn't say that's completely necessary to have this, but for me, it did at least create some peace of mind for me doing it the first time. Applying the ceramic coat was very nerve-wracking for me the very first time I did it, because I thought, okay, I'm going to have to go quickly, I'm going to have to do piece by piece and then wipe it down, and that is true. You have to do like the front door and then wipe it down, the back door or wipe it down, the back of the vehicle. In fact, I did the back right panel and then the back right side as one section, and I wiped that down. And then the back left side and the back left panel, I did that all in one go and then wiped that down. I did apply it to the glass all across the car, and as I said before, the mirror as well. And then the front of the car, I did that in sections as well. So the front right side and the front, the front quarter panel, and then the front side on the right, I did that section in one, and then the front left and the left front panel in the same go as well. And I did coat the lights as well. So, and that's everything. I didn't coat my license plates or the chrome badge on the back either. After that, you have to wipe it down really well, obviously. And I did open the doors and go inside a little bit to get those coated as well, just a little bit. And I opened up the back trunk, or the lift gate, is what they say. You open up the trunk area and you can coat up in there a little bit. I didn't go too overboard there, but I did apply some ceramic coating in those areas. Finally, I did the wheels, and you have to wipe down the wheels. I used the Instant Detail Spritz. That was very, very basic. I just made sure it was nice and clean prior. I had already washed the car, but I didn't go overboard. I didn't polish the wheels. I suppose you could do that, but I opted not to. I just used the Detail Spritz and then applied the ceramic coating on the wheels. I'm not a big wheels guy. Some people are really big about their wheels, so you might want to go an extra step there on the wheels. But after the wheels were done, the last and final step, which I always do when I'm working on my car, was the tire applicators. So I always just use this Black Magic Tire Wet. It says that it lasts up to 4 weeks. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I've never really counted, but it does a decent job. You are going to want to get one of those applicators like that. The tire applicators are pretty low cost. You can pick them up, again, at Walmart, or I think Home Depot even carries them, but definitely like an AutoZone or Auto Shop will carry them as well. And that's it. I mean, pretty much the results speak for themselves. Like I said, I'm very, very pleased with the results. I think it's going to be it's going to provide excellent durability. It's going to last hopefully a long time. And you can see like this, at first I'm like, what is that? But that's just some dust that wipes right away. So again, the prep work takes the most time. The polishing, be careful of getting blisters. There's a number of different polishers you can get, but definitely I recommend getting a rotary, one that kind of goes back and forth, not just in circles, that provides that extra movement. That will give you a better polish. And the prep work is everything. So you're going to spend, if let's say you put 8 hours into this, you're going to spend a good 6 to 7 hours on all the prep work to make it look really, really nice. But like I said, I think it's a lot of fun. Only tackle this if you enjoy doing this type of thing. Otherwise, leave it up to a professional. Electric mobile detailing is a great place to start. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have great success. And if you do try this method, let me know. Find me on Twitter at JohnBBC, JONBBC. Send me a picture. I'd love to see your results using some of the same methods and techniques that I implemented. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoy this content, hit the like button, subscribe. It means a lot. It helps support me. It goes a really long way to keep me motivated to continue making these types of videos in the future. And let me know your results. Tag me on Twitter at JohnBBC, or comment on this video and let me know how it turned out for you. Hope you have as much success as I did. Thanks again. Have a great day, and see you in the next one.